Hey y'all, it's Miki. Welcome back to my channel. As you can see by the title of this video, I'm back with another story time. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers and we're almost there. So for anybody that's new here, and if you're in the story times, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button. And by the way, y'all, it's early in the morning, so if my voice sounds tired, sorry y'all, but I am tired. I really got any sleep, so I just thought, why not just get up and start recording? For anybody who wants to know why I've been MIA for the last, what is it, 20 days now since I last posted any content. I recently lost a friend, and so I've just been dealing with that and some other things. So, you know, mental health is always important. So you always want to make sure you take care of yourself so that you can be your best self. So yes, I've been dealing with losing my friend, and I'm better now, so I thought I'd get up and record a story time for y'all. And the last thing before we get into the story time, I wanted to address this in a video because somebody had left a comment on a very old story time asking about Sneaky. If you haven't watched that story time about Sneaky still in my car, I did mention that Sneaky passed away, and yes, he did pass away. We weren't together at that time. We had been over, like, he had went to prison, and he asked me if I would take that ride with him, and no, I don't hold nobody down in prison. I learned my lesson by holding somebody down in prison, and it bit me in the ass. So yeah, that was the first and last time I ever held somebody down in prison. So yes, I left him while he was in prison. I mean, we weren't even together when he went to prison anyways. We had started talking again, being cordial again, right before he went to prison. And a few months after he got out of prison, he was unalived by one of his close friends. So that's what happened in Sneaky, y'all. Now let's get into the story time. So I don't know what I'm gonna title this video, but it's about Karen. If you don't remember who Karen is, Karen was my cousin who stole my man. And I'm saying was because she passed away, and I just didn't wanna talk about her and people be like, oh, you're talking about your dead family member and she can't defend herself, blah, blah, blah. Even though everything I'm saying about her is true, like everything I said about the situation is 100% true, but I guess everybody just want to look at her in a positive light. So, I mean, I can understand that. And y'all, it's not like I was trying to down talk the girl. I'm just telling my story. But yeah, this story's about her. It's not part 2 of the drama. It's just about a situation that happened when we were young. So this story time is about the time I got my ass beat and it was her fault. So let's get into it. So around this time, I was about 14 or 15. I don't remember the exact age, but I was in my very early teenage years. For those who don't know, me and Karen would practically hang out every single day, even when we had school. Me and Karen were very much inseparable. We were like best friends. So on this particular day, I was over Karen's house because I was supposed to be staying the night. And me and Karen, we didn't live that far from each other. We probably lived about 15 minutes from each other. Karen had asked me if I wanted to walk to the corner store with her. So we went to the corner store so we can buy snacks and drinks and stuff like that so we can have in her room. Because Karen had a house full, just like me, but Karen had a house full of boys. So her parents had a lot of kids like my parents did, but she was literally the only girl. We would buy snacks and drinks just to put in her room because her brothers would dog out everything, y'all. If you grew up with boys, you know how it is. So we went down to the corner store to get our stuff, and when we were there, we ran into Karen's brother's baby mama, and I ain't never met her before. So while we're inside the store picking out our snacks and our drinks, Karen bumps into the baby mama. We're gonna give her a name. Let's call her Bianca. So Karen bumps into Bianca, and they start talking, and Karen introduced me to Bianca. She's like, oh, this is my cousin, this is so-and-so's baby mama. It was one of her older brothers. Like, she had older brothers. Her parents was old. Like, I don't mean like old, but they was old. They was older than my damn parents. So she was like, this is so-and-so's baby mama. And the baby mama, she looked like she was about 30. She was an older Hispanic lady. She was real nice, and she was real ghetto too. So after we got our snacks at the store, we started to walk back to Karen's house. And Bianca was leaving the store, and she asked Karen, hey, do y'all want me to drop y'all back off to your house? And she was like, yeah. So we hop in a car with Bianca and Karen starts talking again. So I guess, like, I'm not really paying attention to the conversation. Like, I'm all in my phone, just in my own world. Like, I was really good at doing that. Like, just somewhere lost in the sauce. So Bianca's telling Karen that she needs her help to do something. And what this something was, I don't know. Because like I said, I was just in my phone, not paying attention. We back at the house and Karen tells me, yeah, so Bianca was telling me how she wanted us to ride with her somewhere later on tonight. And I'm thinking, where would we be going anywhere with Bianca? Because like I mentioned, she's an older lady. Like, why us being so young? Like, why do we need to go somewhere with this grown-ass lady for? I don't know. But y'all gonna see why later on in the story. So Karen tells me, I don't know. She just wants us to ride somewhere with her. I don't know. She needs my help. I don't know. So me being me and always listening to my cousin and following behind her, I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I'll go with you. Karen proceeds to tell me, well, we're going to need to sneak out the house because she wants to go super late. Now, we weren't allowed to leave the house around a certain time. That's because we were still young. As I mentioned, I was about 14 or 15. Karen probably was like 16 or 17 at the time. So we were going to have to sneak out the house to go help Bianca. Later on that day, our other cousin comes over. And let's give her a name. She had a real ghetto name, so I'm going to give her a ghetto name on the story. Let's call her Dashiki. So yes, Dashiki comes over. And the thing about me and Dashiki, so me and Dashiki, like growing up, we were cool. But once we got to the 8th grade, Dashiki just completely did a flip on me. She was really weird, y'all. I had started a new school during the 8th grade. It was an all black school. It was one of those church schools. You got to wear uniforms. So I'm thinking like, oh, this is going to be cool. I never went to an all black school before. I thought totally wrong because like I already knew I was going to know hella people. Like Vaughn went there. His sisters went there. My cousins went there. So I'm thinking like it's going to be, you know, a lit year. And I was so wrong about that. Let me give you a little backstory about Dashiki. So yes, like I said, me and Dashiki growing up, we was super cool, always together, always hanging out. Like we were closer, me and Dashiki was closer than Karen and I was. But as we got older and Dashiki did that weird shit, I started to hang out with Karen more. When I started going to this school, it was all hell, y'all. I started my very first day because Karen done told basically everybody in our grade that I was a nasty hoe. If y'all don't remember that story time about me and Karen, I had mentioned my sister went around telling everybody like lies about me. She was saying like how I was in the bed with Vaughn, like just being nasty. I don't know why my own sister did that, but that's what she did. So yeah, Dashiki was basically telling everybody how me and Vaughn was but we weren't doing anything. Vaughn was real popular. All the little girls in that grade, they liked Vaughn. So they were mad at the fact that I had Vaughn and they wanted him. And I guess he didn't want them. Like, but that isn't my problem. And at the same time, I wasn't even dealing with Vaughn no more because my cousin had already took my nigga. So I don't even see why Dashiki would tell everybody that. 8th grade year for me was just horrible. Like, they bullied me about that. I was known in the school as being a hoe. And the thing is, I would hang around Dashiki and her friends, and the whole time, them hoes is just picking at me, always got something to say. Even my cousin Dashiki. Until one day, y'all, I just got tired of it and I went and found me some new friends. And Dashiki and her friends, they was real mad about that. They hated that because the girls that I hung around with was like more like me. You know, they was cute, they dressed nice, they wasn't all dusty, and they wasn't haters. And one of the girls I befriended in the 8th grade, we were best friends all the way up until our adult years, damn near in our 30s. So I made the right decision by dropping them hoes and finding me some new friends. And the thing is, Dashiki told me why, like when we literally in the 8th grade, she told me why she really didn't like me. And y'all, it's for something so fucking dumb, y'all. So this girl had the nerve to tell me, I remember we was sitting on the bus, riding the bus to school. She gonna say, you wanna know why I don't like you? I didn't really give a fuck, but I was like, why? She gonna say, because your hair was always longer than mine. Bitch, that ain't my fault. Her mama, look, y'all, so her mama, I kid y'all not, she literally put one of them perms or relax, whatever it's called, the one you put on your hair to make your hair straight. I think it's a relaxer. So she put one of those relaxers on her hair when she was 2 years old. 2 years old is very young. I'm pretty sure she probably still had a damn soft spot. Why she put that perm or relaxer in her hair, I don't know. But yeah, so she put one of those on her hair, and then I guess it made her be bald head for the rest of her life. And it's funny because people say now, like, yeah, my hair ain't long because my mom put a perm on my hair when I was 2. If you look up in the dictionary, perm on a 2-year-old's hair, bald head for the rest of her life, you gonna see Dashiki picture right there because the girl's still bald head to this day. Y'all, if you ever have kids, do not put a perm or a relaxer on your baby hair when they're 2 years old because it's gonna fuck them up for the rest of their life. Don't do it. And not only was Dashiki a hater, she was a backstabbing, dog head ass bitch who liked to fuck your nigga. So Karen didn't know this because Vaughn told me. He told me this years, like way when we got older in our adult years. So after me and Karen had our little fight or whatever, Vaughn told me that he had fucked Dashiki. And he told me nobody knew about that. But like I told y'all, everybody in 8th grade, all the girls in 8th grade liked Vaughn. I guess she had to see what the hype was about because she went on ahead and got her some. And I'm not surprised because I said Vaughn and Karen, they were together, right? But sometimes they break up because Vaughn, he was a dirty asshole. He was a hoe. So they break up and Karen, she'll go get her new nigga. So on one day, I know I'm supposed to be talking about a story time, but let me just tell y'all some backstory. So on one day, we were all at Karen's house and Karen was telling Dashiki that her boyfriend was coming over. I had already met her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was super cool. Karen wanted her boyfriend to meet Dashiki. So Dashiki was like, well, when he coming? And Dashiki was like, oh, he finna pull up right now. He's coming up right now. She was like, oh, well, I need to get dressed and I need to do my hair. Hold on. Don't let him come in yet. And Karen goes like, why do you need to get dressed up to see my man? And she was like, well, I want to make a good first impression. Why? Karen is already with this nigga. Like, what do you mean you want to make a good first impression on somebody else, nigga? And then on top of that, Karen was seeing somebody else. Like, this happened some years later. Karen started messing with somebody else. And Dashiki fucked him too. And the thing is, Karen, she knew about this. So I don't see why she didn't want to tussle in the rocks with this bitch, but she wanted to fight me over Vaughn. Like, it just made no sense. It was weird. I mean, I got out there. If y'all watch the Storytime, y'all know what happened. Like, I got out there. We fought a couple times. But yeah, it was just weird to me how you want to fight me and not her, but she been fucking your niggas. Make it make sense. Me and Dashiki, we wasn't all like that because she was a hating ass bitch. And she was mad because my hair was longer than hers. Not my fault. My mom took care of my hair growing up. And your mama didn't give a fuck about yours. But hey. So Dashiki comes over and Karen gives her the whole little rundown about us sneaking out the house later on to go help Bianca because we weren't supposed to be leaving the house that late at night because, like I said, we were teenagers, so we had to sneak out the house. It comes a time for us to sneak out the house. So Bianca, she calls Karen and lets her know, like, hey, I'm outside in the front, y'all, come on. And the way that Karen's room was set up, her window led right out to the front yard. So it wasn't really hard for us to sneak out of the house. This was actually the first time that we ever snuck out the house. So I was a little bit nervous. I just wasn't that type of kid to just be doing shit. You know, like, if I was doing shit, it was because somebody stupid influenced me to go do something stupid. And I shouldn't have been a follower, but most kids are. Me, Karen, and Dashiki, we all hop out the window and we go get in the car with Bianca. It's probably a little past midnight. And when we left the house, we didn't even think to change. We still had our pajamas on. So Bianca's driving off and I asked Karen, I'm like, hey, like, where are we going? Like, what are we doing? Oh, Bianca, she wants us to go help her get something out of her house. I'm like, thinking to myself, why does she need our help to go help her get something out of her house? It just doesn't make sense. So Bianca's driving and Karen asked Bianca if she can stop to pick up Vaughn. And y'all, when Karen asked to pick up Vaughn, like, y'all, my heart dropped to my stomach. I was like, wow, because I ain't gonna lie, I still had a bunch of feelings for Vaughn. Yeah, y'all, I love Vaughn and I have feelings for Vaughn, but I love my cousin even more. If she wanted to mend our relationship and forget about the past and move forward, I was willing to do that because, like I said, I love my cousin more. We all didn't live too far from each other, so Vaughn's house was probably about a 5 to 7 minute drive from Karen's house. So we rolled to go pick up Vaughn and he didn't have to sneak out. He could just walk out the front door because Vaughn was like a grown man. He could do whatever he want. He could have bitches in the house. His mom just did not care what that man did. So yeah, we pick up Vaughn. Vaughn gets in the car. He speaks to everybody. He tells me, hey, Key. And I'm just like, hey, Vaughn. We pick up Vaughn and then we're headed to our destination. And Bianca doesn't live too far from all of us. So the drive was probably a good 5 minutes. I remember us pulling into these apartments and I remember it being real dark. Like, usually apartments are lit up on the outside, but these apartments were real dark. I remember we pulled up. We didn't even park in the parking spaces. We just pulled up on the side of some apartments. Bianca proceeds to tell us my apartment is upstairs. And Karen asked me, so are you getting out here or are you going to sit in the car? And I tell her, I'm going to sit in the car because I still don't know what they're doing. And everybody gets out the car except me. So I'm just sitting in the car waiting on them to do whatever they have to do. So this is the thing. She got evicted from her apartment. Bianca needed our help, our underage help, our minor help to break into her apartment. Like, I don't know what's going on upstairs, but this is everything that Karen tells me way after the fact. So Karen tells me that Bianca says she can't get into the house and she needs Vaughn to hop through the window. But the thing is, she's going to have to break the window and Vaughn has to go in and then unlock the front door. So Bianca breaks the window, Vaughn hops in, then that's what he did. He unlocked the door and then everybody went in. And the thing is, like, when they came back downstairs, they didn't have a whole lot of stuff. They were up there for a good maybe 5 to 10 minutes, not even long. I guess she had left some money in the house and she needed to go in the house and get it. I didn't know that what we were doing was wrong. For those who don't know, but I'm sure everybody knows, when you get evicted, they change your locks, you have to go to court, and then the property manager is supposed to give you, like, I think a day or two, I don't know, to come into the house and get all of your belongings. So I don't see why she just didn't do that, unless she just planned on skipping court and ditching all her shit. Like, it just didn't make any sense to me. So yeah, if the police would have known she was breaking into that apartment, I'm sure she would have been going to jail. And then when she got out of jail, my mama would have beat her ass for even putting me in a situation like that. Like, why would you ask some kids to help you break into your apartment? Like, that just made no sense. Everybody comes back into the car because, like I said, they were only up there for a good 5 to 10 minutes and they didn't even have nothing. So I think she just went up in there to get some money, or it was just something small because I didn't really see that she had anything. It was weird. So everybody gets back in the car. And remember I said earlier in the story that Bianca was ghetto. So she tells us, do y'all want to go back home or is y'all rolling with me? I can go get a bottle. We can drink. Like, what y'all want to do? I'm like, like, Karen knows me. She knows I don't fuck around. Take me back to the house. So Karen tells her, no, we're not going to get nothing to drink tonight. Just take Vaughn back home and then take us home. So we pull back up to Vaughn's house and we all get out the car. We all just talking. So we probably stayed outside for a good couple hours, y'all, because we did not get back to Karen's house until 3 in the morning. Remind y'all, we left around midnight. So yes, we were outside Vaughn's house for a good minute. We leave Vaughn's house and then we're driving headed back to Karen's house. Bianca pulls up and then we try to get out the car and try to be quiet. Karen tries to tell us to be quiet because, you know, we have to sneak back in. She don't want to risk waking her parents up. Even though she believes they're asleep, she just don't want to get caught. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to get caught either. We should never even left the house just to ride with an old bitch. I mean, she was old to me. She wasn't old, but I mean, she was old to me because, like I said, I was like 14, 15 back then. So I'm thinking like, yeah, you got me out the house to ride with an old bitch to do nothing. And then we had to pull up on your nigga who I was still low-key in love with because you just took my nigga when I was still low-key talking to him. So it was just a whole bunch of bullshit that night. And I just wasn't too happy. By the time we got back to her house, I low-key just wanted to go back home because I was just over it. And we still had Dashiki with us, and I couldn't stand her. I know she couldn't stand me because she made it very clear she couldn't stand me. Like, she was still doing that hater shit, and I just really didn't care to be around her. Come to think of it, y'all, I don't know why me and her didn't just fight. That's what we should have did. We should have just fought that shit out because she obviously had an issue with me. Me and her should have just fought. Yeah. We're back in the house, y'all, and then Karen goes, she's hot, she needs something to drink. Remind y'all, we had went to the store earlier that day. We had drinks and snacks, so there was really no need to go in the kitchen, but she was just complaining like, our stuff is hot. We're going to need ice and cups. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's just go in the kitchen. But she was like, I don't want to go by myself. I'm scared. Scared of what? Bitch, this your house. And I'm like, okay, come on, Dashiki, let's go with her. So we all get up to go out of Karen's room. As soon as we open the door, we all come out. Guess who's standing at the end of the hallway, leaned up against the couch, holding the belt? Yes, Karen's dad, my uncle, David. So, I mean, his real name isn't David. That's just the name I'm giving him in the story time. So, yeah, he's standing at the end of the hallway waiting for us to come out. I guess he heard us come in and he knew, like, we were going to come out, probably go to the bathroom or get something to drink. I don't know. He just knew we were going to come out the room. So, like, when I see him, I try to go back in the room. And he was like, no, come out. Come on, Key, come out. So I'm like, oh, my God. And I get behind them, y'all. We literally walking in the line down to the living room. So Karen is first, then Dashiki, and I'm last. So we're walking down the hallway. Like, the hallway wasn't even long, but it seemed like it was a 10-minute walk, y'all. Like, I was dreading that damn walk. So we all get down to the living room, and my Uncle David and my auntie, they down there waiting on us. And then my Uncle David, he starts talking shit. He was just like, y'all snuck out this house. Y'all know what time it is. It's 3 in the morning. Y'all outside with y'all pajamas on. He just really popping it. And so he was like, who going first? And I'm thinking to myself, what he mean who going first? I know he ain't talking about no whooping. And I don't even know why he even asked that question, because he knew who he wanted first. He wanted Karen. Like, Karen, she stayed getting her ass beat. She always got her ass beat. And when she did, it was always dramatic. Like, she used to run around the couch and just scream, oh my God, Daddy, you killing me? You're killing me. Like, she would just always be so dramatic. It would just be so annoying when she get a whipping. If you don't like getting your ass beat, just try to be on your best behavior. You always the one to be doing stupid shit, then want to act like he unenlivened you when he's beating your ass. Like, just be cool. So he tells Karen to put her hands on the couch and to bend over. And when she does that, she already like trembling and just doing the most, y'all. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do I really gotta sit here and watch this? So I'm just standing there with my arms crossed, like, much. I didn't even want to watch that shit. So he started beating Karen ass, and then he tells Dashiki, come on, you next. And he starts talking shit to her like, yeah, you outside in your pajamas. Girl, them is drawers. You outside in your drawers. She has some little boxers on. And I was, when he said that, I kind of laughed, but I was like trying to keep it on the low because I didn't want to piss him off way more than he was, you know. But that was just too funny how he started yelling at her, talking about, you got on drawers. Like, it was just too funny how he said it. So she bent over, mind you, Karen's dad is Dashiki's mom's brother. So he could whip her. Like, he had every right to whip her. That's his niece. David had no right to whip me, because I don't know if y'all remember in the story time about me and Karen when she took my man. I mentioned Karen and I, we weren't blood cousins. Karen was related to my younger brother, but we all like grew up together. So that's how, you know, I started to call her my cousin. His mom's side of the family became my family. Like, we were just all close like that. But still at the same time, he had no right to whip me. So I don't even know why he wanted me to come out the room and line up. I could see if he wanted to ask me why would I go outside middle of the night, but to whip me, no. So yeah, he starts beating Dashiki ass, and then he tells me, come on, Key, you next. Put your hands on the couch and bend over. And I look at my auntie, and then my auntie goes, no, David, don't whoop Key. You know, don't whoop her. Don't whoop her. Please don't whoop her. Just go back in the room, Key. He was like, no, fuck that. She getting her ass beat too because she left out this house. And I start crying, y'all. Like, I'm like, no, I'm not getting a whooping. I'm like crying, like bawling, like, are you serious? And my aunt was like, don't whip her. Don't whip her. And y'all, I was a good kid. So to whip me just because I left, I mean, I understand you want to whip me because I left out the house, but I'm only doing this because your daughter told me to. You know, she's older than me. She influenced me to do dumb shit all the time. And I don't even know why I still hung out with her, because she always influenced me to do bad shit. Hold on, y'all. And at the same time, I ain't your damn niece. You ain't gonna be putting your damn hands on me or your belt on me. If anything, call my parents. We don't live that far from you. Call my parents and have them come pick me up and let them talk shit to me. Let them beat me. And no, my dad, he's never even whooped me. That's the thing. My dad has never whooped me. Like, my mom, she whooped me sometimes. My granny whooped me. But my dad has never whooped me. So I was just really scared because this grown big ass man is telling me he's going to beat my ass. Like, I'm terrified. So y'all, my auntie, she could not save me from an ass whooping that night. My Uncle David told me, you know the drill, put your hands on the couch and bend over. Then he started to whoop my ass. He probably hit me a good 5 times. And let me tell you, that was probably the worst ass whoopings I had in my life. Like, men are stronger than women. And he used full force when he was beating my ass, just like he did Dashiki and Karen. So, yeah, it was probably the worst whoopings I had in my life. Like, I was crying. I was hysterical. I was devastated. Like, I could not believe my Uncle David was really whooping me. And I had never had no ass whooping by no man. So I was just really hurt and I was mad. Like, I was angry. I wanted to go home at that point. And I low-key wanted to go home anyway because that's stupid ass shit Karen had me doing. After everybody got they turn, we all had to go back in the room. Fuck getting some ice for our drink. We had to go back in the room. On our way back to the room, we walked down the hallway doing that long ass walk, which felt like 10 minutes, even though it was probably like 3 seconds. We all walk in the room because we crying, y'all, but we all walk in the room. We just start laughing. I don't know why we did that. Like, it was weird. Maybe we just didn't want to feel stupid in front of each other. I don't know, but we just all started to laugh like hysterically. And I know Karen parents heard us. Yeah, we just all started laughing. And then so we probably just sitting there talking about everything that happened for a good 5 minutes. And then Karen, she goes, I think you should call your dad. And I'm like, why? Call my dad for what? She was like, he needs to know what happened. He needs to know that you just got a whipping by my dad. I think you should call him. So she grabs the house phone because she had a house phone in her room, and she proceeds to hand me the house phone. She's like, here, call your dad. So Karen was feeling real devious because why would you want me to call my dad knowing that my dad is very much unhinged? Knowing that my dad tried, I ain't even gonna go there because my dad and her dad already had a little altercation and it didn't really go well for her dad. So why would you want me to call my dad? So I just knew she was feeling devious and she was feeling real salty about getting her ass beat. So she wanted me to call my dad. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. Like, I was scared for her dad. That's why I didn't want to call my daddy. So I'm like, maybe, no, I'll just talk to him when I get home. She's like, no, call your dad. So she hands me the phone and I call my dad. And I'm thinking to myself while the phone is ringing, I'm like, it's 3 a.m. He is not finna answer, but I'm going to call to shut her up. So the phone probably rang like twice, and my dad, he answered the phone, and I was shocked. I was like, oh, fuck. So he goes, hello? I'm like, hey, daddy. He was like, Key, what you doing up so late? It's 3 a.m. I'm like, yeah, I know. He was like, what's wrong? Because he knows if I'm calling him at 3 a.m, something got to be wrong. And when he asked me what's wrong, I just didn't say anything. So he asked me again, what's wrong? And my dad knows me. My parents know me. If I'm quiet, something is wrong. So y'all, I'm sitting there trying to hold back the tears. Like, I'm fighting back the tears because I already know, like, I'm finna start crying. Because I was still upset about getting a whooping. I'm not supposed to get no damn whoopings. So my dad, he kept saying, what's wrong? You want me to come over there? And so I just told him, I just started crying. I'm like, Uncle David whooped me. He was like, what? He started screaming. He was like, what? That mother put his hands on you. I'm like, he whooped me with a belt. He was like, why did he whoop you? I said, because Karen made us sneak out the house. He was pissed off. He said he didn't care what we did. Nobody is supposed to touch his child. So my dad said he was on his way, and I didn't really think he was going to come. Like, I knew he was going to come, but I didn't think he was going to come as quick as he did. My dad tells me to hand the phone to my Uncle David. He's like, put that bitch ass nigga on the phone. So I go walk to my aunt and my uncle's room, and I hand my Uncle David the phone. I said, here. He looks at me and he goes, what's this about? I said, And then he goes to grab the phone and I dropped it. I wasn't trying to be petty, y'all. I dropped it by accident. So I picked up the phone and then handed him the phone. And then I stood there for a minute because I wanted to know what my dad was going to say. So he goes, what's up? And all I hear is my dad screaming on the phone, like he cussing him out. He threatening him. He's just really going off bad as hell. I leave the room. I just walk out and I go back to Karen's room. I'm not even finna wait to hear the results of that conversation. I'll go back in the room and mind my business. Karen, she starts to ask me, like, what happened? I told her, oh, my dad just wanted to talk to your dad. I gave him the phone. My dad, he was yelling, but I don't know what he was saying. But they were still on the phone when I walked out. She was like, okay, so do you think your dad's gonna come? I'm like, I don't know. He might. I don't know. A good 15 minutes go by and I hear yelling outside. I don't really know what happened that night. But all I remember is I walked towards the living room and my uncle was standing at the front door. And I don't know if he had opened the gate or not, but I see my dad standing there. And my dad had that evil look he had on his face and he's just going off on my Uncle David. So I really don't know what happened that night. I just went back in the room and I just waited for my dad to call me to come outside, but he never did. So I guess he ended up leaving and going back home. I don't know what happened that night, but when I got older, I asked my dad what happened that night when my Uncle David whooped me. He told me, I'm grown now, we can talk about it. So my dad tells me, I told that bitch ass nigga, I'm coming over to his house with my, and I'm gonna beat him in his head since he wanna beat on my daughter. I'm gonna beat him in the head with my, so my daddy really pulled up with his, and he said that he knocked on the gate, and then David, he opened the door, but he like didn't open the gate. Tells my dad, what's going on? I'm not coming outside to fight you. And my dad said, nigga, we ain't got to fight. Just beat you in the head. Like, you just beat my daughter, I'm gonna beat you in the head with my. So him and my daddy, they're just arguing. But he ended up opening the gate for my daddy and got him to calm down. And my daddy told me that he told him if he ever touched his child again, that it's over for him. Because for one, like my daddy, like I said, my daddy has never hit me. So why would he allow another grown man to do so? So after that, my dad went back home. He didn't make me leave with him. I stayed with Karen and Dashiki. And my dad called me the next day and asked me if I wanted to come home. And I was like, no, I'm going to still stay here. I'll let you know when I'm ready. After that day, it was never like no issue. Like my aunt and my uncle, they never acted funny towards me. I mean, he never whooped me again, but he never stopped allowing me to come to his house. Like, I was over there like half the summer type shit. Like, Karen would be over my house half the summer and I would be at her house half the summer. Like, that's what we used to do. We used to switch back and forth. So it was never like, oh, you can't come over here because your dad threatened me. He tried to unalive me. Like, no, it was none of that. My uncle knew he was wrong. So no, I never stopped going to Karen's house after that incident. I don't know what happened with Bianca because I don't know, I probably seen her like once or twice after that. That's the thing with my cousin's baby mamas. Like, I didn't really see them much. Even though I was over their house all the time, I never knew their baby mamas. That's how I didn't know he had an older lady for a baby mama. Like, I never seen them. And I just want to say this, Bianca, bitch, if you watching this, you know you was dead ass wrong for having some minors help you break into your apartment that you got evicted out of. You should be ashamed of yourself. Anyways, y'all, that's it for this story time. Oh, let me say this. So remember I said we was going to do the Q&A. I didn't get any questions. So I guess y'all don't want me to do a Q&A. That's fine. If you do, leave me some questions in the comment section below. If not, that's okay too. I just thought I'd try to change up the content. I don't know if y'all wanted me to stick to just strictly story times. That's fine too. We could probably even do subby story times. I don't know. It's all up to y'all. Just let me know down in the comment section if you want me to. If not, I'll just continue to do story times. And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. We are on the road to 1K. Like, we're so close. Let's get there, y'all. Let's get there before let's get there before Christmas. I'm hoping to get monetized before Christmas. So y'all help me out. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And I do have a bunch of juicy story times that I want to tell y'all, but I'm just waiting until I get monetized to tell y'all them stories because they real juicy, y'all. They real juicy, and we gonna get there. We gonna get monetized. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and share this story time. Thanks for watching.